The severe thunderstorm threat will finally get pushed toward the southeast for the early part of the week ahead. Damaging wind gusts, a few tornadoes, and some hail will be possible from Saturday night through Monday, when the threat should be pushed into the Atlantic.
The resulting floods quickly submerged roads connecting various communities, with water levels in some areas reaching nearly 1 meter.
New Orleans, Birmingham and Montgomery, Alabama, Atlanta, and Charleston, South Carolina could see strong storms before we finally drop the curtain on this nasty storm sequence. Cooler weather will be on the way next week.
According to the latest update from the Region 3 Public Relations Department, the situation on the morning of May 24th, 2025 remains critical. Floodwaters continue to inundate areas around the Maasai border. Mr. Wariat Keban, chief of Maasai District, revealed that the Sai River has been overflowing since 3 a.m.
A child in Little Rock has died in connection to the severe weather that has been sweeping across Arkansas, according to Little Rock police. Investigators said officers responding to a medical assistance call found a 5-year-old located at a home in the 8500 block of Mablevale Pike on Saturday.
Water is currently pouring into the Hua Phai community as the large sandbags in place failed to hold back the flow.
Investigators said the child died as a result of injuries from a falling tree that was blown over during the straight-line winds around 11 a.m. Officials with ADM also said 2 people were reported injured in Miller County, which brings the total reported injuries in the state from the severe storms to 12.
The district chief warned of a second wave of water, expected to arrive around 8 a.m., emphasizing the urgency of reinforcing protective barriers and expediting rehabilitation efforts, especially in areas like Sandy Island and Lankenwood.
In Miller County, a small community just south of Texarkana was devastated by the storm Saturday morning. A trail of destruction was left on Satterfield Lane, just off of Line Ferry Road. Multiple homes were hit by falling trees.
ये हरिपुर में हमारे घर के बिल्कुल सामने नीचे की तरफ है।
And raised concerns about possible contamination in the Sai River. Special caution has been advised for people with open wounds, and village health volunteers have been asked to protect vulnerable groups.
And then I looked over in the corner of our house where our front door is, and had a tree, had a limb, had some leaking, still currently leaking too, said Taylor Hughes, who was home with her son and dog when the storm hit.
Concerns also remain about the recurring issue of mud flow from Burmese mines, which could return once the waters recede. As of 7:40 a.m. today, the Maesai Tackle Bridge and a nearby border checkpoint remain indefinitely closed due to high water levels and strong currents.
She said the house can be fixed, but the most important thing is that everyone made it through safely.
Streets turned white under a blanket of ice. Hailstones the size of tennis balls rained from the sky, and entire towns were brought to a standstill.
Counties with significant outages include Pulaski County with 43,130 without power, and Saline County with 11,228 after a battering of high winds and flash floods.
These were not just severe weather events. They were historic disasters that reshaped the landscape and shattered livelihoods. But within the destruction, stories of resilience and unity are emerging.
Storm Martinho hit Portugal hard on Wednesday and Thursday, with particular impact on the night between the 2 days, with heavy rain and gusts of wind causing damage across the country, particularly with trees and posts falling. Between midnight and 11 a.m. on Thursday, Civil Protection recorded 5,800 incidents, more than a third of which were in Greater Lisbon. He said crews will continue to work as quickly as possible until dark and will return on Sunday to clear any remaining trees from roads. The people of Hillcrest are dealing with the aftermath of Saturday morning's storm.
Pinerolo, a municipality in the province of Turin, was hit hardest. Residents watched in disbelief as massive hailstones, some measuring up to 6 centimeters across, began pummeling the area. In a matter of minutes, streets were transformed into rivers of ice. Hail ricocheted off cars, shattered windshields, and pierced through rooftops.
This was the worst affected area, with at least 6 people injured, all of them not serious, according to a provisional assessment made by the mayor of the capital, Carlos Modas.
The Pora River between Calais Ligia and Final Borgo is partially flooded on the provincial road, currently closed. Maximum attention in the area. Fear in the Finalese area due to the water bomb that overflowed the Pora River in a few minutes and created major problems, especially in the first hinterland. Finale Ligia and Final Borgo were submerged in water, as was the road that runs along the Pora towards Perti, Gora, and Calais, whose river flooded and even destroyed the pedestrian path that crossed it.
Oh my God, this is sick!
The strong wind and rain knocked down trees, causing damage some never imagined. Rachel Bullock says she's not used to seeing her neighborhood with severe damage.
Tres carajos, se cree que anda en una home militar. Pero tú sabes que es lo más cabrón, que pasó la inundación en el mar. Ahora. No.
I've really never seen anything quite like this before, Bullock said. Her neighbor Chris Ashcraft lost 2 of his cars during the storm and says it was something he didn't see coming. My tree was on my vehicle and my wife's vehicle, then it started smoking and caught on fire, Ashcraft said. 22 roads in the Lisbon area had to be closed, and trains on the 25 de Abril Bridge were interrupted between the Coina and Romero stations, but resumed at 7:25 a.m. Trains on the Cascais line are still not running. The Douro and Vuga lines were also interrupted, but have now resumed operation.
The situation is no better inland. In Tovo San Giacomo and in the hamlets of Bardino Nuovo and Vecchio, several landslides in a strip of land have disrupted traffic. The alarm is already at its highest, and the fire brigade switchboard does not stop ringing with requests for intervention in many areas.
Around 20 maritime bars were closed to navigation. In Lourinhã, 13 people had to be rehoused due to a roof collapse, a scenario that was repeated in several parts of Portugal, with the wind knocking down structures, such as part of the roof of the Rio Avenue Stadium in Vila do Conde. Around 50,000 people were left without electricity in the districts of Leiria, Coimbra, and Vila Real due to the effects of the bad weather.
Coast Guard in the Los Angeles area searched for 2 others after their boat was found overturned earlier in the day.
At Cascais Airfield, several aircraft were turned upside down due to strong winds. The situation is affecting not only mainland Portugal, but also the Madeira archipelago, where falling tree branches injured 2 foreign tourists in Funchal. During the night and early morning, 51 incidents were recorded in Madeira.
Officials will have to assess long-term solutions for protecting the coastal city from the impacts of climate change. Hallelujah that no one was hurt in this, which could have been orders of magnitude worse in terms of any injuries to human beings and damage to property onshore and offshore. He said at a media briefing Tuesday. But I think we have somewhat of a question mark as we move through time. He added, and I don't think we're by ourselves.
The bad weather is expected to continue until Saturday, with rain and strong winds continuing, although with less intensity, as well as rough seas, with a risk of flooding.
高机被水，哇，好大的一艘！我这。
I think this is what coastal communities around the world are probably dealing with. The structure was in the middle of a $4 million renovation following destructive storms last winter about 70 miles, 112 kilometers south of San Francisco.
The Minister of Internal Affairs, Margarita Blasco, praised the work being done by the Civil Protection, PSP, GNR, firefighters, and local authorities, and asked the Portuguese to scrupulously comply with the instructions of the Civil Protection.
At 5:45 p.m., there were no reports of injuries, but the situation is constantly being updated. In the final Borgo area, towards the Perti area, a large tree, dragged downstream by the torrent of water, hit and overturned a bridge and completely destroyed it. The streets of Borgo have become rivers, with civil protection and local police teams operating on the scene. A tree has fallen along the road, leading from the toll gate to SP 490, blocking the traffic lane and forcing a temporary stop.
Recorded 55 millimeters of rain in just 1 hour. The New South Wales State Emergency Service responded to over 140 calls for assistance, including 4 dramatic flood rescues. 1 resident was evacuated from a home with waist-deep water, while another was rescued from a stranded vehicle by Fire and Rescue NSW.
Wuhan City, Hubei Province, experienced violent lightning strikes and historic heavy rain. Some streets turned into rivers with a large number of vehicles submerged. Within 3 hours, Wuhan issued 7 warnings and issued the first heavy rain disaster warning this year. Wuchang railway station was flooded. Water accumulated severely in the station and many passengers were trapped inside. Wuhan University was like an oasis surrounded by floodwater. Outsiders could not enter and insiders could not go out. At first glance, it looked like a vast ocean. In the video, the floor of an office on the first floor was flooded. Someone shouted, "Flood," and poured water out with a plastic bucket. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay informed about the latest developments.